Most people pick SEO keywords completely wrong. They open a tool, type in a keyword, sort by search volume, pick the biggest number they can rank for, and then wonder why their traffic doesn't convert a few months later. I've made that mistake before. My clients have made that mistake. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through live on my screen exactly how I choose keywords now in 2026. Now, a quick reframe before we touch any tool. A keyword is not just a word. A keyword is a question with a job behind it. When someone actually types in a keyword inside a search engine, the search engine has a job to deliver good results that will deliver responses to that user's query. So someone typing, for example, best running shoes for flat feet isn't doing the same job as someone typing running shoes. So for example, look at this. When I type in running shoes on Google, it immediately shows me shopping search results at the top, and then a listicle, the 15 best running shoes of 2026. And then when I type in running shoes for flat feet, I actually see the sponsored products on the right, and I see different listicles, including Reddit at the bottom. So it shows that for flat feet, specifically Google is giving me responses from Reddit, a forum, so I can find opinions from people like, right? So this is just a very different kind of intent and different kind of search results that are being shown. So this is super important to understand the intent of the user and what kind of content would actually win for that specific query. If you ignore this job, you will end up just writing content for traffic that either never buys, or Google will just deprioritize you because they'll feel like you're not actually covering the intent of the user. So this order really matters. Intent first, volume second, difficulty third. Most people do it backwards, but this is the order you need to follow. And now let me show you what that looks like in practice. So like I just said, intent is the most important thing to capture. You need to capture the right intent. And intent can really be categorized into 4 buckets. The first bucket is informational. How does X work? This is really top of the funnel. The next bucket is comparison, X versus Y. It's people sort of in buying mode, but looking at different solutions, trying to understand which one is the best for them. We have commercial. So this is when someone is ready to buy, best X for Y. And then we have transactional, when people are literally just last step before buying, X pricing, buy X. So this is, bottom of the funnel. If you target something like this and you capture that traffic, that's very high intent traffic that's likely to convert. Now let's do a little exercise together. So let's assume I'm building a project management tool for agencies. Well, when I look at informational keywords, what comes to mind is how to manage agency projects, right? Because that would be a high intent topic for my project. And then a comparison query would be something like Asana versus Notion for agencies. So 2 of my competitors specifically for agencies. Commercial would be best project management tool for agencies. And then a transactional query would be Asana pricing. So this is a query that I could capture traffic from one of my competitors. And notice something, I've done this little exercise with you guys, and I haven't actually looked at a single search query or volume yet. I'm just thinking about where in the journey my customer is when they type each of those things, and this map becomes my skeleton, and now the data tool has a job to do instead of giving me 1,000 random ideas to go through. And this is super important because a lot of tools that generate keywords for you and so on, they will generate so many keywords that are not actually high intent. And the recent Google content updates and search engine updates, they actually prioritize topics that are as close to your core business as possible. So if you're, for example, let's say I'm building a project management tool for agencies, and then let's say that I'm writing an article on how to best organize the finances of my agency. That's not really core to my business, right? There's other financial tools that are a way better fit to answer that kind of query. Well, Google is actually shown to deprioritize if that piece of content is not directly related to your core business. So it's very important that, especially when you start your SEO journey, you don't just hit for random keywords that are not directly related to your business just because they have really good search volume, because you're not actually going to manage to capture a lot of that search traffic. And if you do capture the search traffic, it's just not the right intent. It's people will not convert from it. So it's very important that the first articles you put out are directly related to the intent you want to capture and that you know will convert. So now let's just take one of the keywords here. Let's say Asana versus Notion for agencies. So I just took Asana versus Notion, and look at this. It has 350 search volume, keyword difficulty of 2. We'll describe more a little bit about how that is not 100% true. And then the value of that traffic, $817. And let's see what happens when I actually type in Asana versus Notion. So first I see a Google AI overview, and many people do not do this. They just trust the data blindly. But the Google AI overview is actually pulling from Reddit, from the Notion page, and from Tech Republic. So the only company that has a say between the two, between Asana and Notion, is actually Notion, because they have a dedicated comparison page that's performing well, and also a YouTube video. So if I wanted to compete for this keyword, I would make sure that I am mentioned in the Reddit, and I would also make a YouTube video about it, because clearly this person right here made a comparison video, and now that's being ranked in the Google AI overview right at the top of the query. So this is super important. And you see the video is actually from 16th of September 2022. That's pretty old. I think if I was to do one right now, I would actually have pretty good chances of being at the top. And now if I scroll down, I see Reddit is the first thing. So I'd make sure that I am in those conversations, especially all those Reddit threads. And what are the next results? It's not Notion, it's not Asana. It's actually an online magazine about business that compares the two. So this is absolutely, crazy that this is here. You can actually reach out to them and see how much it would cost to be mentioned in there. And then Nuclino and Easel, they're actually two other startups building competing solutions to Asana and Notion. And they're getting ranked very high on this query. So they're actually ranking higher than Notion or Asana for this query. And they're driving a lot of traffic, I'm sure, from this. And some of that traffic will convert if the page, is good enough, and will drive people down the funnel. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, this is where most people make mistakes. They just build lists of 200 random keywords because they have amazing search volume, low keyword difficulty, and they think that's great. I need to rank for this keyword. Instead of building 10 to 15 high intent topic clusters that might include some of those keywords, out of the list of 200, but they are structured in a way that will make sure you squeeze as much organic traffic as possible by showing search engines that you actually have topical depth. So you're an expert in that topic, you've written extensively about it, covered multiple angles and intents, and search engines can now trust you that you're a reputable source that provides good responses to what people are searching for. So now, instead of just writing 200 blog posts that will drive maybe 50 clicks per month, you will now create 100 high quality, high intent blog posts that will drive over 500 clicks per month. So with less effort, you actually get 10 times more results. And this is exactly what we do at SEOForge.ai. We don't just generate you a list of random keywords. Once you give us your website, we ask you a series of questions that allow us to identify the exact high intent topic clusters that you should be building in order to drive the most high intent traffic. And once you give us the website, what you will see after the questions we ask you is actually a content calendar planned with the full keyword research done, full article ideas based on capturing the right intent for that specific keyword, so you don't actually have to do this research manually. And then those articles will be generated for you on autopilot given your business context. And very important, you can have the best SEO strategy in the world. You can spend days, weeks, months on perfecting your SEO strategy, but if your content is not high quality, the same way if this YouTube video was not informative, was not useful to you, you would not be watching it. You just go to another video, right? The articles need to be high quality, and for that we've done a lot of research in this space. We actually have every single article that we generate come fully prepared and optimized with a meta title, meta description, a different H1 title, just so you capture as much intent for that keyword as possible. We also use stock images, but more importantly, we use AI to create charts, infographics, flow charts, and anything else that is useful to the reader. If the reader comes to your article and feels like the content is AI generated, they will not like it. They will just bounce because they'll feel like there's no effort put into this. And I've seen myself do the same thing. If I feel like, there's low quality AI generated stock images, I just think, no, that's bad. There's no effort put into this. It's probably just AI slop, so I'm going to leave. And this is why we decide instead to actually create charts and have a lot of unique statistics put into the article. Our research agent specifically looks at other websites, but it also looks at transcripts of podcasts, research papers, forums, and really brings together unique data and insights. It doesn't just write the same content in a different way like all the other AI article generators do. Now, very important, based on our research, AI search engines, most of their citations come from the top 500 words of each web page. So if every article we generate comes with a key takeaway section that includes the unique data, perspectives, and insights from your article. So it helps LLMs actually cite you more often, but it also helps human readers come and understand exactly what the article is about without having to just search through and not find it and then leave. So this is super useful for both human readers and AI search engines. And like I mentioned, we like to provide charts and so on. And the beautiful thing about this is it's not just useful to the human reader, but once your article gets indexed on Google, those images will actually get indexed in Google Images. So when someone searches for this specific stat right here, your image will pop up. And once your image pops up and that person clicks on it, they will come to your blog post. And then they will, be free organic traffic that you can get using the same existing piece of content. So we've seen this happen over and over again with, some clients driving maybe 5-10% more organic traffic just because of the images we created for them inside the article. And then the next two things that I absolutely love, and we've put so much work into making sure that it works so well, is every article comes with frequently asked questions. So in order to capture as much intent from that specific keyword and as many angles as possible, because not everyone searches the same way. Some people will search, like I was saying, running shoes. Some people will search best running shoes. Some people will search red running shoes and so on. We actually look at Google and how different people type in different queries for the same keyword, and we try to capture that in the FAQ. So every article comes with that already. We also have a CTA section at the bottom. So if someone reads through your entire article or skims all the way to the bottom, it would be a shame to not drive them down the funnel, right? So we make sure to include a CTA that's contextual to your business so that the people who go all the way to the bottom, they will actually be able to go down the funnel and convert on your website. And at the end of every article, this is the thing that I think for me sets us apart from anyone else, is the sources section. So it's very important that in order to show search engines and people, especially in today's world where there's so much AI slop online, it's very important to show that you've actually thoroughly researched this topic. It's not just generated with one ChatGPT prompt or one Claude prompt, but there was actual research behind it. So every article we write comes optimized with a list of sources at the end that are all reputable websites that have good organic traffic. You'll see research papers, for example, right? And this is very important because it shows search engines as well as people that this article is high quality. The SEO strategy that we've developed at SEOForge.ai and the article quality alone have allowed us to use SEOForge.ai ourselves to grow some of our websites. And as you can see, for example, over here, I have the Google Search Console of one of our websites. And after only 3 months, we've managed to hit more than 340 clicks and over 60,000 impressions with an average position of 7.1. And I can tell you that from this website alone, we've managed to drive over 80 leads. Which is huge in just 3 months of using SEOForge.ai. And that's not the only thing, but when we look at the AI citations that we've managed to drive, we've managed to add over 2.8K AI citations from Microsoft Copilot. So it's the only platform that will show you actual AI citations. And this is just amazing. Those are the results after 3 months of using it. And of course, it depends from niche to niche and business to business, but we've seen consistently amazing results for the people using the platform. Now, as a quick recap for what we've learned today, the first and most important thing for you to look at is intent. The second thing is volume. And the third thing is difficulty. So don't get fooled by those platforms that provide you with data the most important thing remains capturing the intent of the people who type in a specific query or keyword into Google, ChatGPT, or Claude. That is the number one thing. Everything else is noise. If you manage to capture the intent correctly, that is step one, the basics done correctly. And then of course you filter and prioritize keywords by volume, by difficulty. So making sure enough people search for it and that the competition is not so high that you cannot rank for it. And also the next most important thing is not just actually building lists of keywords, 200 random keywords, and you think, hey, if I target all of those, I will definitely capture good traffic. What will happen is you'll actually write, 200 blog posts for those 200 keywords, and you'll be driving maybe 50 clicks per month, which is really not great. But what you need to do instead is you need to do your keyword research, but start by building high intent topic clusters. So what are the maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 topics that your ideal customer profile will search for? And using those topic clusters, do your keyword research. And what will happen is that instead of 200 random blog posts, you'll actually end up writing 100 high quality, high intent blog posts that will drive 10 times more clicks than if you were to just write random blog posts. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Alex, the founder of SEOForge.ai, where we're a small team trying to build something genuinely useful to help you guys drive more organic growth from traditional search engines like Google and AI search engines like Claude and ChatGPT. If you have any questions, please leave it down below in the comments. I answer to absolutely everyone. And if you want to give us a try, feel free to. We have a free trial to anyone who joins us. And I believe and we really hope that it will help you drive more organic growth. Let's keep building.